Welcome back to the Mike Huckabee Show on this Wednesday, August the 1st, which is Chick-fil-A Appreciation Day. Joining me now is a good friend, Star Parker, president of Cure and nationally syndicated columnist. She is also a person who has a website that is at starparker.com, where she's written a remarkable article that I just read earlier today. And it's simply called, "Is It Un-American to Be a Christian?" Star Parker, welcome back to the Mike Huckabee Show.
Well, thank you, Mike. It's good to be on with you again.
The article that you wrote at starparker.com really does ask, I think, a very fair question. Has it become un-American to be Christian? And you talk about it in relationship to what's happened at Chick-fil-A. Explain it.
Well, we're being hit from a lot of different fronts. We being those that have chosen a biblical worldview. We being those who have surrendered their life to the Lord. And this is just another example that we are targets. Christian people are targets in their worldview shining through the First Amendment in this society today. What is happening to Chick-fil-A, which incidentally I have to thank you. I would not have been on that radar had you not sent me an email because I didn't know that they were under this type of attack. I didn't read the article where their CEO just simply explained his Christian worldview. He believes in traditional marriage. He believes it not just professionally, but he believes it personally because he stayed in a marriage. He and his whole family have embraced a biblical worldview. Well, this was uncomfortable, I suppose, for homosexual activists, so they began to target his food chain, a food chain that has a history in this country of the American dream, what we would consider Americanism, where American exceptionalism, where anyone from any background or ethnicity can put an idea on the table, explain that idea to public, and then make great gain as a result. And what happened with Chick-fil-A and their founding with the Cathy family is they went above and beyond. They actually are still closed on Sunday. So for them to be under attack, yes, I asked the question, is it now un-American to be a Christian?
It does seem that there is a different standard applied to Christian behavior as opposed to other religious behaviors. A good example, I haven't seen the mayor of Chicago say that the Muslims in his community should shut down because they don't approve of same-sex marriage. And, in fact, they are far more, I would say, vitriolic in their comments about it than any Christian I know. Why the double standard, Star?
Well, we know the double standard is because the liberals that are now controlling our cities and have for a long time have bought this idea of secularism, and secularism is inconsistent with Christianity, but they find that these other religious philosophies have to be tolerated in order for them to appear that they don't have a problem with the First Amendment. No, it is Christianity, because the difference in Christianity and why it is a exceptional American religion is because we choose right from wrong. We don't pretend that there is not this concept called sin. Now, we perhaps are sinners. Perhaps we engage in behaviors that we know are wrong, but at least we say there is a right and there is wrong. But you're absolutely right. In fact, Mike, I think that the homosexual activists have crossed the line, including those that are controlling major cities, across the civil rights line, civil rights policy lines, the EOC policy lines, to say that you can now discriminate against people because they're Christian. The law, the EOC and civil rights law says you cannot discriminate against people you don't agree with.
Star Parker is my guest. She's president of Cure, a nationally syndicated columnist. We're talking about her latest article, which is online at starparker.com, called "Is It Un-American to Be a Christian?" Star, one of the points that you made was that Hillary Clinton, Secretary of State, was recently in Egypt, and while she was there, she talked about freedom and encouraged people in Egypt to allow people to live, work, and worship as they choose, whether they're man or woman, Muslim or Christian, or from any other background. You suggested maybe Secretary Clinton should be making that speech in the U.S.
Yes, I did, which would be a difficult speech for her to make since she doesn't agree. She herself would adopt the views of many others that think that the Muslims get a pass, but the Christians don't when it comes to what they declare as intolerant, to believe that the Scripture has defined marriage for us. It's not something that we're making up. Throughout history, the definition of marriage was unchallenged until recently with this new movement in our country. But absolutely, Hillary Clinton is pointing out one of the blessings of America, what makes us so unique and exceptional, is that we have a First Amendment right to live and work and worship as we choose without us having to worry about somebody knocking on the door, dragging us out, and murdering us in the street in the name of religious expression. No, we battle in the voting booth here in America, and it is right for her to point out how to build out a nation of freedom, a nation that's consistent with biblical law, a nation that's civil one to another. But that is a discussion we should have here in America, because the very foundational principles that we were founded upon are under attack. Remember, not today. Today is not only a Chick-fil-A Appreciation Day that you have called for, and many across hundreds of thousands across the country are going to make sure that their voice is heard, as they fill their stomachs in a Chick-fil-A today. But today is also the day that the law implements the mandate, the health care mandate, that the Catholic Church and other religious institutions are forced to make a decision between their worldview and their belief and whether they're going to be fined by the government because they're not offering contraceptives and abortion type of mechanisms through their health plans. We are under attack, and I wrote this column to let people know that Americanism, the very core of our beliefs, are under attack if we're going to allow Christians to be under attack.
Star Parker is my guest. I was scrolling through some of the comments following your article on your website, starparker.com. I found it interesting. Some of the incredibly harsh, I would use the term vile, comments directed toward you and toward your column and toward Christians and Chick-fil-A from people who are claiming that they were just being tolerant and that they were standing against the bigotry of Christians, and yet their verbiage was so very angry, hostile, and, frankly, bigoted.
Yes, it absolutely is, and it's unfortunate because even as I point out in my column, where these comments were made by Mr. Kathy were in the Baptist press. It's almost like the homosexuals are watching everything and anything and everything that people say or do and becoming very, very intolerant to our worldview. I will be not surprised if soon, as in Canada, even in the church pulpit, we will be regulated in our free speech. It's very unfortunate, and thankfully, I've grown to where I have thick skin. You know my background. You know my story, that I believe the lie of the left, and I got caught up in all of their lies, criminal activity, drug activity, sexual activity, welfare activity. My life was out of control, believing that worldview of those that are now writing me, trying to scold me and try to push me into silence. But I'm not going to be silent. I've gotten not only thick skin, but I've learned to not read their language, because I'm still getting letters from some that say, you've changed me. What's going to happen as a result of what you've done, Mike Huckabee, is people are going to reestablish why they believe what they believe, and are they going to now join the rest of the Christian community that is ready to war against this spirit that is trying to take over our society and transform us into a country that we should not be. Those few that are going to now say, okay, I'm going to be more serious about my faith, those are the ones that we have to keep our eye on, not the ones that are in our heart and our prayers for, not the ones that are writing such harshness and are being very, very intolerant and divisive as well.
Well, Star Parker, it was a wonderful article. I hope people, if they have not already done so, will go to starparker.com and read the article. Is it un-American to be Christian? Star Parker, president of CURE and nationally syndicated columnist. Always a pleasure to visit with you. Hope to do it again soon.
We will. Thank you so much.